you're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blues out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to, that should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots, you ever see them throw back with a little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful, but let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. You know, a lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, you know, early, you know, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You know, you got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Like Montreal, has a new coach. Like I might be the new coach in Montreal in 2 weeks. Like they have a new coach all the time, and they always have, oh yeah, we're playing a new system. They're like, they have a bunch of 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. Anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like it's a real disaster. But they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to hour number 2 live right here on this Monday morning on the Early Line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. Major League Baseball is at the All-Star break on this Monday night in Hotlanta. It'll be the Home Run Derby. Tomorrow is the Midsummer Classic, and it allows us some time to reset where the big stand at the All-Star break. First half of the season. I say that in air quotes because, of course, every team in Major League Baseball, all 30 clubs, have played at least 95 games. We are well past that midway point of 162. We'll reset where the markets are. Of course, the chase for a World Series. Before that, the pennant prices, and of course, some award markets here at the All-Star break as well. And then later on, DRS, in this hour number 2, the coach, J.Y. James Young, joins us to go around the WNBA, some summer league action, and an offseason in the association as well. Plenty in store here in this second hour.
I was watching a little Quinterly and Beckers yesterday, go back and forth, little Caitlin Clark, Sophia Cunningham. I mean, look, the WNBA might carry us through this week here as we have it. And also, like, sports sort of shut down, but still the hot topics keep through. And sooner than later, we'll be in football season. We understand that. But also, I also want to ask this question to the people out here, Ben. Like, the home run derby is tonight. Like, again, we all love home runs. We do. Like, growing up as a kid, you used to meet your friends at the ballpark and be like, hey, we're going to play home run derby today. It was like the greatest thing. Like, everybody likes home runs. Every baseball game that you rent, what are you looking to do? Or buy, I should say. Hit a home run or play the home run derby type of game on it. Are there people out there, because home run derby is long tonight. If you're not betting on home run derby, are you actually watching it all the way through? Because heck, even like I bet it in the past, it's like, this is too long to even watch. I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up and check my account to see if my guy actually won. Does anybody actually watch it, Ben, all the way through if they don't have a bet? Like, I'm just a baseball fan and I want to watch. It's extremely long.
It is a long time. They have, of course, changed up the format, not a number of pitches, but a timer now in direct head-to-head matchups. Are they still doing the bracket? I guess we'll discuss with Tom Vecchio a little bit later on. And, of course, we'll start to break down the Derby. DRS, I always enjoy the home run derby. This week, I always think of very fondly. It feels like summer. It's nostalgic from when you are a kid. It's summer break. You're hanging out. You turn it on to watch the Derby, the All-Star game, and the ESPYs later this week. It loses some of its allure. No bracket anymore, I just learned from our producer extraordinaire, Joe Frieso. Speaking of the WNBA, 2 games tonight, DRS, neither on national television. And just so you know, we get to the WNBA All-Star break at the conclusion of a quintuple header. That's 5 games of action on Wednesday. So we have in total this week 9 games in the W, 2 on national television. 2 on national television. And both feature the Indiana Fever. Go ahead.
Well, at least they're both with the Fever at that point. But this is a week that you should be able to shine. Like, you should plan your other leagues around the All-Star break, because if there's not much to watch, this is your chance to do it. Like, to be honest, Ben, you know what camp week should have been? Should have been this week in the WNBA. Like, nothing going on at, like, you have the center stage in the afternoon where nobody's watching everything. That's where you can shine, because people are handicappers. People are gamblers. Even if they don't like the WNBA, hey, Mike, I'm getting a Jones. Let me put 10, 15 bucks down. I'll take the Fever. I'll take Caitlin Clark over 2.5 3-point shots made, whatever it is, over 13.5 rebounds for Angel Reese. Like, you will tune in, and all it takes for you to watch one game, like, you know what? I won $10. That was fun. Oh, tomorrow there's 2 more games on. I'll watch that as well. Like, I'm not saying you build a fan base long-term that way, because people certainly will go back to the sports they have. But if you have a week where you can really just take center stage and say, hey, some people that might not have liked our product will tune in, like, you know what? If that's on, I'll watch it. It's a simple business strategy that maybe they're passing over, and they shouldn't be.
We do have some camp day action this week, though it should be noted, in Chicago, Minnesota, and Seattle on Wednesday.
Okay.
Those early matinee games on Wednesday, especially when things quiet down, even after our All-Star festivities this week in Atlanta. DRS, All-Star break time. Every team, as we have shared, has played at least 95 games around Major League Baseball. Well past that midway point of 81 in the long sprint. That is 162 of MLB. Let's look at where the World Series odds were back on opening day at the end of March, and where they are currently as we enter the All-Star break following the final weekend ahead of the All-Star break. The Dodgers have always been the short favorites. That's exactly where they reside. 20 cents even shorter than their opening day price at plus 240. Of course, the Dodgers snapping a 7-game slide on Saturday, won the final 2 games of their final weekend set against their rivals in the Giants and DRS. Despite the struggles entering this final weekend, Dodgers still have the best record in the National League, even if it's been slightly underwhelming. Win total for LA remains at 100.5. It was 104 and a hook entering the year. We'll get to the teams that have had their numbers look shorter. Dodgers shorter, Yankees shorter, Phillies shorter, Mets slightly longer by $2. The Orioles a ton longer, and the Astros shorter, nearly slashed in half, 18-1 to 10-1. But DRS, there is no doubt when you look at Baltimore and Atlanta, and we'll start with Atlanta because that's where the All-Star game is this week inside Truist Park. They have been the most disappointing team in a large way this year. Second best price to win a World Series before this year got started, only behind LA. And now that number 120-1. More than likely, the Braves are going to miss out on the postseason. They are 42-53, 11 games below 500 at the All-Star break. It's been a disastrous season in the A.
No, it certainly has, and there's no reason for it here, right? Oh, they lost A.J. Smith-Shawver. Stop the madness, man. People deal with injuries all the time and guys going down, specifically not top of the rotation guys. And there's no excuse for this lineup. Ronald Acuna came back. He's healthy. When you look at player for player, it's a very good lineup, but just not performing. But also, when you look at the future for the Braves, very good front office, as we understand. There's some pieces that I guess they can move at the deadline to sort of retool for next year. But what are the expectations then for next year? I don't understand. Strider's supposed to be an MVP / Cy Young candidate. Right behind him, Schwellenbach's supposed to be great. Chris Sale comes back. He's fantastic. Acuna is great. Profar is not getting popped for roids next. Do you see where I'm going down with all these question marks? Like, where does it actually improve for Atlanta? Because you are what your record says you are. Like, they're healthy and intact and still not playing good baseball. 12.5 games back at the end of the regular season. Like, yeah, they just didn't have it this year. They're 12.5 games back at the All-Star break. So if we're just going by the law of averages, there'll be 25 games back by the time the season ends.
Yeah.
Nobody anticipated that for the Atlanta Braves. And I'm not saying they're going to finish 25 games back, but there's something you can't quite put your finger on, like what actually happened in Atlanta. A great organization, always competitive. Just seems like on a night-to-night basis, they don't have it. Whether it's their pitching staff falling apart, whether it's the closer blowing a save, or more importantly, that lineup, which is talented, just doesn't come through in the right moments here. That's never 42 and 53 at the break. Never saw that coming here, Ben.
Again, 11 games below 500. And DRS, it's not exactly like the Phils or the Mets are running away with the division, leading to a 12.5 game advantage. Atlanta has just been that bad. Not only 12.5 back in the division, 9.5 back of what would be the final wild card spot that the San Diego Padres currently occupy. And in between the Padres in that final spot and where Atlanta resides, there is 5 teams in between. The Braves have the 4th worst record in the National League. It's not even disappointing, but they can turn it around. It's disappointing and awful for the Braves at this moment. They started off 0-7. We asked, even in this expanded postseason in Major League Baseball, could Atlanta make a run to get to the playoffs? DRS, the price now on the Braves to earn a National League postseason spot is 13-1. Not going to happen. The Baltimore Orioles, DRS, second best price to win the American League pennant before this year got started. 16-1 to win the World Series. 310-1 at the All-Star break. Of course, the O's lost both of their final games this weekend against the Marlins. They were playing slightly better baseball, but still well below 500 and in the cellar of the American League East. We'll talk a little bit more about Baltimore and then some teams maybe with some optimism here at the All-Star break next on the Early Line.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Dude, you have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball, the All-Star break, where the World Series odds were on opening day at the beginning, or the late portion of March, I should say, and where they are right now. DRS on the left side are actually every team involved right here. The 7 best prices to win a World Series before this year got started. There are some that have seen their prices grow shorter. We'll discuss in just a moment maybe where that value is in the World Series market at the All-Star break. But, of course, 2 teams that you can see have had disappointing seasons in a big, big way. The Braves, the second best price to win the World Series, second best price out of the National League, now 11 games sub 500 as they get ready to host the All-Star break. Kind of a bittersweet feeling, I would say, this week in the A. And the Orioles had the second best price out of the AL, 310-1 to win a World Series now. The O's dropped their final 2 games this weekend at home inside Camden Yards against the Miami Marlins, including yesterday a beatdown in Baltimore, 11-1. They had entered the last 2 games, Saturday and Sunday, DRS, winning 6 of their last 7. The bottom this year for Baltimore, the valley of how many games they've been below 500. On May 28th, 19-36, 17 games sub 500. Entering Saturday, they had started to turn things around. From May 28th on, they were 24-14 before dropping their final 2 games. Baltimore, 9 games below 500. They have stopped, I guess you could say, the worst of it, but they're still 9 games below 500 and in the cellar of the American League East.
Yeah, and here's why they're in the cellar. Coming into the season, the expectations on the pitching staff were, okay, well, hopefully it works out, but we know one thing's for sure. Our 1 through 9 are going to be really competitive. We're going to put up a lot of runs. We'll just take a look at the American League East right now. Leaders, the Yankees, 501 runs. Boston Red Sox, second place, 491. Tampa Bay, of all teams, 449. The Blue Jays, 440. The Baltimore Orioles, 393 runs scored. That can't happen. Like, if your pitching staff is going to struggle, what do you need to do? You got to out-hit, because let's take a look at runs allowed. Oh, why is the team in last place? Because they allowed 483 runs, a minus 90 run differential. So when you're not hitting or pitching, how the expectations are you to be in the top 2 or 3 in your own division, let alone leading it here? The numbers, again, say exactly what you are. Baltimore's not a good team, and nobody's coming to the rescue. Are we expecting a hot streak? Like, hey, open up winners 10 of 11 in the second half, and now we're looking at a wild card. It just feels like a team that's been dead in the water, that you've been waiting on, that is just never going to awaken in the 2025 season.
And again, DRS, for these teams that have been wildly disappointing, especially Baltimore and Atlanta, that are this far below 500, you might be thinking, hey, it's the All-Star break. Let's reset. Let's go on a run. You only have fewer than 70 games remaining. 70 sounds like a lot. It's not when you're trailing by 9.5 games for a wild card spot, or for the O's right now in the American League, looking at those wild card standings, 7.5 games. The O's have the 3rd worst record in the AL. The Braves, the 4th worst record in the National League. You really have to get red hot. Like, we're talking 8-10 wins in a row, basically pull off what the Red Sox have done entering the All-Star break. So as we look at those World Series prices, DRS, Dodgers such a short favorite. The Tigers, despite losing 4 straight entering the break, have the best record in Major League Baseball and the second best price at plus 750. The Yankees have been okay as of late, but of course struggled to end out June. We have talked about the Phils earlier. They can't hit right now. The Astros playing much better baseball, but a weird final week where they were swept by the Guardians, and then a rivalry this weekend against the Rangers. Cubbies maintain a 1-game lead in the division. The Brewers, the hottest team in the National League, they've won 7 straight. The Mariners just swept the Tigers, and they've got Big Dumper and the Blue Jays a 2-game lead for the American League East. DRS, all of those teams, 10 best prices to win the World Series. Is there a club that you point to right here at the All-Star break where you're like, yeah, this is my buy-in spot right here, right now. I can't wait any longer?
I mean, no, I don't think there is a buy-in spot right now. Do I like the Cubs at a 12-1 price and think they're intriguing? Yes. Here's the issue. The Dodgers probably are the best overall talented team, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face, Ben. Just wait till the trade deadline. You'll know where these teams are ramped up. You know they're amped up and heading into the backstretch of the season, how well they're playing, but more importantly, who they add on the roster. An extra bat, an extra pitcher, an extra bullpen reliever. That could change the landscape. Because let's just say like some of the rumors, like for the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey, looking to trade some prospects to get Steven Kwan and Clase as a closer. Ooh, that could shift it here. Or if the Dodgers block everything and just pick up Clase themselves just because they wanted to do it with all the prospects and the unlimited funds that they have. So it's almost a wait-and-see approach where I don't want to jump in at the All-Star break. I want to jump in at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But having said that as well, you look at the way Major League Baseball is structured. Let's just take a look at like the top seeds, and let's just say it's the Dodgers. Like series number 1, the wild card, what is it, a best of 3? Then the NLDS goes to a best of 5. We just saw the Dodgers lose close to 10 games last week. Do you see what, like, it just is a matter of how you're playing at that moment. And right now, without their top line guys, 100% healthy and pitching, because things should change. Like Yamamoto goes the entire stretch of the season, looks fantastic. And also you take a look at, let's just say Glass now snaps back. And then you have Shohei Ohtani waiting there in game number 3 in the NLDS, who's pitching to, I don't know, a 2.50 ERA. Those things will matter. So to get to your point, I'm not really skirting the issue saying, is there a team that you have to jump on right now? No, there's not. But there are some teams where you're saying, all right, baseball's not a 7-game series where the cream usually rises to the top. That wild card round, if you get trapped in the best of 3, and the NLDS and the ALCS is only 5 games, it's just a matter of your starting pitching. Because when I talk about the Phillies, they're going to go in and throw whoever the hell they want over the first 5 games, and they'll all be absolute studs. But if you score 1 run a game, it doesn't matter. Let's see some of these teams make some changes. But if there is one intriguing team, which you can never kill, Ben, it's the Astros. It really is the Astros.
It really is the Astros, DRS, I would say, from a World Series perspective. Again, Houston, an interesting final week before the All-Star break. But from June 1st, they were the best team in baseball, 24-8, before they hosted a Guardians team in their midweek set last week. Hosted in Houston. Cleveland had entered dropping 10 in a row, and Cleveland swept the Astros. And then Houston hosted their in-state and divisional foes in the Rangers, who have awoken a little bit at the dish here entering the All-Star break. And Texas wins the weekend, taking 2 of 3. So Houston enters the break, dropping 5 of 6. But I would still say the Astros look like that team, and they are still awaiting Yordan Alvarez to return as their big bopper in that offensive lineup. We'll look at the pennant prices, DRS, and make some arguments. And we'll also lay off the early peek at a playoff picture because, again, that starts to crystallize even more following the All-Star break this week in Atlanta. That's next.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh, boy, does he really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California, if you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
So the question had to be asked here at the All-Star break in Major League Baseball, does Donnie find any value, a buy-in spot right here, right now for a team to win a World Series? And of course, to win a World Series, you need to win a pennant. We start in the National League DRS. The Dodgers on opening day, plus 135. The Dodgers at the All-Star break, plus 120. LA, despite dropping 7 consecutive games, their longest losing skid since September of 2017, before they won the final 2 games of their weekend set against the Giants, still have a 5.5 game lead in their division and still have the best record in the National League by a half game in front of the Cubbies. So when you look at those prices around the NL, is there a buy-in spot where you had missed a ton of value from where the season began and where it is right now? I'm not so sure unless you really think the Milwaukee Brewers are that squad. 25-1 before the year, now 13-1. Milwaukee has won 7 straight. Hottest team in the National League at the All-Star break. And DRS, the top wild card team, only trailing the Cubs by a full game in the National League Central. But when you look at these prices now, of course, you need to be in that playoff position to win a pennant. But it's a very different story come October than it is right now, even midway through July.
Yeah, to win the National League pennant, you take a look at the Dodgers, who we think are the most talented team, but at a plus 120 price. That's madness at this point. Like, you know, if let's just say the Dodgers don't even win the division, end up in the wild card. That's a best of 3. Then the NLDS is a best of 5. Let's just say they don't end up in the wild card and just in the NLDS because of the top seed. It's still a best of 5. Like, you've seen red hot teams consistently knock out top level teams. So just for that, and the same thing with the Philadelphia Phillies, at least they're plus 490. If the Phillies were, let's just say the Dodgers plus 120, the Phillies are plus 200. It's like, no, I wouldn't be taking the Phillies either. So as much as I like to say the Dodgers, and they'll probably add on if we're just looking optimistically now, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm taking a better price. It's the same way we'll approach like home run derby tonight. Yeah. Hey, there's 8 guys in the lineup. It looks like any one of them can win it. Well, why would I take the favorite at this point? Why don't we just look down for a little bit more value? Which would the Mets be valued at 6-1? Maybe the Cubs, I do like at 6-1.
Maybe.
But the teams like the Brewers, I don't like. Like the Padres are very intriguing at 16-1. If they make a trade for another bat, they have front end pitching. They have a very good bullpen. And again, it's just about 5 games, 7 games. It's not an entire season laid out. You just get hot at the right moment. It makes some sense. So for me, right now, thinking about it, I don't want the top shelf teams with the best odds here. I'm trying to look a little bit further down that list because I know how tough it is to win in the playoffs. And if you just have a bad 1 or 2 games, that can knock you out. And that's why you don't want to take a heavy favorite at that point. So right now, I love the Dodgers, but I don't love the price, and there's no way I would take them now. Now, if you ask me the same question, Ben, in 3 weeks at the trade deadline, and the Dodgers really added on, and you could get them at a plus 100 price, you go, that probably makes a little bit more sense. But there's other teams out there, the Phillies, the Mets, the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Padres, along with the Giants. They're still going to be looking to add on. And I'm looking at a team that's going to add on and still get a better price of 5, 6, or 7-1 or better than maybe somebody less than 5-1 like the Phillies or the Dodgers.
The Brew Crew's price is basically slashed in half. The Cubbies number 12-1 opening day, now 6-1, has actually been slashed in half. I love the Cubs offensively. We'll see what their pitching holds as we get ready for October baseball because, as DRS mentioned, right now the teams, when we do the playoff picture and the early peek at it, the 2 teams that would earn an opening round bye are the top 2 teams in the National League, the top 2 teams in each league. We've got 3 wild card teams with the expanded spots and our 3 divisional winners. The Dodgers and the Cubs would be those 2 teams to earn the opening round by advancing automatically to the NLDS. Best of 5 for a Dodger staff that could be healthy, dangerous. Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, Yoshi Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani. Pick of the litter for Dave Roberts, and the Dodgers won a World Series last year despite not being fully healthy in their starting staff. You would give the edge to the Phillies as well. Do the Cubs and the Brewers have that? That's what we shall see. American League DRS, we are here now at the All-Star break where the Tigers have the best record in baseball despite dropping their final 4 games, entering the All-Star break. And for the first time really 2 weeks ago, we saw a change in who that pennant favorite was. No longer the New York Yankees struggling into the All-Star break. The Tigers do have that shortest price.
Yeah, they do it plus 260. And again, just lining them up. If they do take down, let's just say the top seed in the AL, they go to that 5-game series, and it's Tarek Skubal that's going to start. That's always a lightning rod right off the bat, which you figure you'll be 1-0 in any series that you have. It's just up to maybe a Flaherty or somebody to come on as that true number 2 that can really hold down the fort. But I still look at the Houston Astros at that 4-1 price. If the Toronto Blue Jays can make a move, maybe get one more pitcher in that starting lineup. Mariners are interesting. The Boston Red Sox coming on strong. The Rays sort of fall off here. But if I'm looking again, it's probably the Astros at that 4-1 price. It's just as the most intriguing team right now to bet on.
Plenty more coming your way on the early line. The coach joins us up next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Connect, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogged in the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause here because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 in full effect right here on the early line. Ben Stevens, Donnie right side, and we got to bring in some guests here to have some fun. Why? Because it's a week that has sports, doesn't have a lot of sports, so we need the experts in certain sports like the WNBA. It's Coach James Young. Coach, how we feeling today? Midsummer Classic type shows with no Major League Baseball. Glad you're in here to help us.
Well, luckily we have some NBA Summer League. We got some WNBA and a big matchup for what I consider the biggest star in the sport in Caitlin Clark, and who I think it may be the second most popular player in the sport already, and that's Paige Beckers.
Great. We're going to talk about the WNBA in a second, but I like hot topics right off the bat here, Coach. We'll get to some of this even a little bit down the line. I'm upset with the NBA Summer League. I just need you to help me out quickly here. Are we at the point now where if you are a high-level pick, let's just say a lottery pick, your over-under in games is officially every season listed at 1.5. Why can't we enjoy ourselves in the summer in the NBA Summer League? Why don't they let us enjoy ourselves with the players playing at least 4 to 5 basketball games? We can't have nice things in the summer?
Absolutely not. But not when it comes to the NBA. Hey, Donnie, let's be honest. It's not even the 1.5 games. It's whenever you have a really good game, then they shut you down, right? If you think about it, Cooper Flag, we'll get to Cooper in a little bit, but didn't play well first game. Play second game. 31 points, second game. Okay, now you're done. right? Ace Bailey, terrible first game versus Philadelphia. Second game, all right, played well. All right, you're done. So to me, it's all about like, all right, let's just see how they look, particularly the top 10 picks, right? Let's just see how they look when they play well, and then it shut it down. It's just unfortunate for Vegas, but the NBA knows what they're doing. They knew that Cooper Flag was not long for this event. That's why they put Cooper and Bronny first day, 8 p.m. ESPN. Folks, it's called ratings.
Yep, smart move. You know how you get bigger ratings? Put VJ Edgecombe out there. Shatter the ratings for the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll get to that in just a little bit. When we talk about ratings, though, in the WNBA, it surrounds the Indiana Fever. And yesterday, prime time, middle of the afternoon spot on a Sunday, a 102-83 final yesterday where the Fever knocked off the Wings. Caitlin Clark still working her way back here. 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. Paige Becker's at 21 points. But, Coach, I want to start there first. Working back into the fold, Caitlin Clark. What are you seeing now with the Fever after a few games back for Caitlin Clark?
Well, even before she got hurt, she was struggling from the 3-point line. So to me, her getting 2 threes, obviously that's good. I mean, it was a really good odds was a just missed. I think it was ESPN bet. I think it was 15 plus points for each of them, 2+ made threes. And of course, Caitlin Clark got the 14 points and everybody missed out. But to me, it's more about what I see with everyone else. I feel like, and I've said this over the weekend with Kata, Caitlin Clark's got to change her game a little bit because she's got so many dynamic players around her. Aaliyah Boston, obviously, with 17 points last night. Lexi Hull was off with only 3. Sophie Cunningham with 13. Those two have played really, really well, particularly in the fact that shooting the ball. So now if you're Caitlin Clark, to me, you got to look at assists because they may hang those points numbers, Donnie, way too high. So look at the assist market. I told people, I thought the best bet of the day yesterday was Caitlin Clark double-double at plus one, I think 130 to 150 if you shopped around, because you look at the fact that other people are scoring. Dallas doesn't play good defense, and Dallas gives up the most assists per game in the WNBA. It wasn't a great shooting performance, but Caitlin got other ladies involved, and that, to me, Donnie, makes them more dangerous than her taking the logo threes.
Glad to be back with you both, DRS, JY. Thanks for holding it down as we compare the two former number 1 overall picks. JY, you mentioned Caitlin Clark yesterday, 14 points, 13 dimes. She has now been back from that groin injury 3 games. Indiana got embarrassed at home in the first against Golden State. They have won the last 2. And in those 2 victories, JY, 22 total dimes out of Caitlin Clark. 9 the other day against the Dream, 13 yesterday, of course, against the Dallas Wings. There has been some conjecture because without Caitlin Clark, who has missed 10 games this year due to injury, Indiana has a winning record. The Fever might look better without an all-world and generational talent in Cece. I think that's a stupid idea. But to your point, JY, if it comes to Indiana reaching that ceiling of expectation that they entered this year and still maintain a 7-1 price to win a WNBA championship, they had the 3rd best number entering this season. Caitlin Clark needs to be a little bit better. With Caitlin Clark being the facilitator, the distributor, the orchestrator of the offense, how has Indiana looked in these previous 2 games?
Far more dynamic. And it just, Ben, you notice as you watch a lot of ball, right? Like if you have a point guard that dominates the ball and doesn't pass, it's easy to load up, right? But if that ball moves around and you get it to her on the second, third side of the floor, you run some kind of ball screen action, and now she's going to the basket. You got Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Mitchell, all 3-point shooters, right? Natasha Howard, good for 15 feet. Aaliyah Boston, and that picking what we call short roll, where she shoots about that 15-foot jumper. Man, they just become really hard to guard. Like, that's the thing I think people need to understand. Listen, are the logo threes beautiful to watch? Absolutely. I'm not knocking it. I think it's great for the sport. But what's best for the Fever is when more players are getting involved. Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham have stepped, particularly since Dewana Bonner has left. And now Caitlin Clark can look at a game where she did not shoot the ball great from the floor, but she controlled the game with her passing. So now you don't need her to get you 25 to win. But if she gets you 10, 11 assists and she gets you 14, 15 points, they're going to be really tough to beat for the rest of the season.
Yeah, take a look at their odds again to win the WNBA. The Fever at a 7-1 price here, coming in the fourth spot. Liberty, Lynx, Mercury, and the Dream behind it. If we're looking at some of these standings, and we can also compare it to the MVP markets, Coach. Does anything stand out right for you in the WNBA, if it's the Champions market or in the MVP market?
No, it's just the fact that the Liberty are plus 180 and have not played particularly well. I know they got the win yesterday versus the Atlanta Dream, but they are a shell of themselves without Double J Jonquel Jones. I've said it time and time again, and I think people will start to realize she is not the best player. That's Stewie. She's not the most dynamic player. That's Sam. She's the most important player because of her ability at 6'5" to stretch the floor from three, but dominate down low and low blocks, get rebounds, stuff like that. They need her back. Like also, Leona Fevich played really, really well. 8 of 9 from the floor last night. She's also another part. So when you talk about the Liberty, it's not so much about Sab and Stewie. It's really about Jonquel and some of the other players that have to step up. In regards to the MVP market, I was really high on Phoenix before the year. They have been phenomenal. Alyssa Thomas, honestly, getting Kalia Copper and Satu Sabali as 2 linchpin shooters is something to look out for. But I still look at Caitlin Clark. She's at 25-1. They have not played well. You have half the season to go. If they make a run, and she leads WNBA in assists, and she gets you about 16, 17 points a game, and they get themselves to like a 4 seed or a 3 seed, you can't tell me she's not going to be better odds to win the WNBA MVP.
Of course, there will be the notoriety in the narrative around Caitlin Clark. You wonder, though, how many games she has already missed in the opening half of this season, if that will be too much. Nafisa Collier is the hefty favorite at minus 500. Her Minnesota Lynx, 18-4, best mark by 3 games in the WNBA. The Mercury have been great, JY. They are 14-6. The Liberty, 14-6. Phoebus yesterday, 21 points. The Libs have won 3 of their last 4. They started off 9-0, and from that point, they are still 5-6, namely around when Jonquel Jones did suffer that injury. They expect her to be back for the stretch run. It is why New York remains the favorite to win the WNBA championship for a second consecutive year. Also, just so we know, Paige Beckers, minus 6,000 to win Rookie of the Year, has scored 20-plus points in 8 of the 17 she played for Dallas. Plenty more with JY next.
I say you crank that Soldier Boy, right? You Darvish back on the mound. Haven't seen this guy in a minute right now. Yeah, man, crank it, man. Get it going up. Get the high. Yeah, let's go. Crank that Soldier Boy up here. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. That was big back then. Where were you? Senior high school? Or maybe even in grade school?
Dude. Bar mitzvah slate. In the bar mitzvah slate each and every weekend. The young Benny Steve was out there hitting it.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They practice in a public park. And Farrell and Lodge, he said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Like, it basically, like, there's like kids playing basketball. Like, yeah, no, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God, like, I thought, I'm like, man, I bet a lot of money on these guys. I can't believe this is where they practice. Like, yeah.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Scrounge out a couple of quarters from under the couch to go trade for somebody who actually makes some money. I don't think that he would actually do that. That's not in Hal's style the last couple of years, especially in season. I saw they signed that Heimer Candelario, who the Reds released. That's more their style, going the discount aisle as opposed to trading for someone who's actually having a huge year like Suarez.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's just the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
From the WNBA to the association this summer, in the offseason, drama in storylines we have already seen. It's been a while since we had a coach, JY James Young, here on TEL, so let's get you caught up on all of the news around the association. JY, let's dive right in. Of course, you were with us when we got the initial blockbuster trade deal for Kevin Durant being shipped from the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets because it happened on the afternoon, entering the night of Game 7 of the 2025 NBA Finals. So we got your thoughts that week. Officially, though, as of last Sunday, July 6th, when the NBA season officially started, that trade went through. It turned out to be part of a 7-team deal, the largest ever in the history of the NBA. But again, still the headliners, JY, Kevin Durant on his way to the Houston Rockets. We have seen some other moves happen, of course, throughout this offseason. Free agency, the 2025 NBA Draft. I ask you a question now, not about the deal and your reaction to it, but Houston's outlook entering 2025-26. With the addition of Kevin Durant, are the Rockets the second best team out west, only behind the Thunder?
They are. I mean, when you really look at that team, getting, Fred VanVleet at the point, Reed Shepherd, shout out to Reed Shepherd, just, 2 games I think he played in NBA Summer League, looked good in one of them. And then you look at that front court of Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, and obviously Kevin Durant. That is a top-notch starting 5. But when you go to that bench and you have Tari Eason, you have Jabari Smith, you have Clint Capella, you have Steven Adams, you have affordable bench to go along with who I think is one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA. It'll be interesting because one of the problems that Houston had, I thought, was a closer. Well, now you got your closer. So to me, they absolutely, make sense in regard to them being the best team out in the Western Conference. Let's stay out West really quick because I saw the graphic. And you talk about Denver. I thought getting Cam Johnson for Michael Porter Jr. is just getting a guy that may not have the ceiling of Michael Porter Jr., but is just more consistent in his play, right? And ability as a stretch 4. I thought that was really good. But for them, to get Bruce Brown back, to get Valanciunas for the bench. Well, we'll see what happens with Valanciunas because, I think he wants more playing time. He's not going to get it there. I thought that Denver addressed their bench, which I thought was a major problem. So to me, when you look at the Western Conference, it's OKC, it's Houston, and it's Denver right now, 1, 2, 3.
Let's get back to the East here because an interesting move that happened with Damian Lillard getting bought out for the Milwaukee Bucks, which allowed them to sign Miles Turner as their center. If you look at the odds market, it didn't really move anything around. The Milwaukee Bucks sitting at roughly a 4,500, roughly 45-1 to a 50-1 dog shot here to win the NBA Finals. Now, I'm not looking for them to win anything, but talk to me about the ramifications of this deal. Is it positive? Is the only thing they just wanted to keep Giannis happy to say, we have a guy we're trying to add on. Please don't leave us, or say you want to leave us?
But I don't think they made him happy because he was the one that wanted Damian Lillard on the team more than anybody else. He also wanted Kyle Kuzma. That didn't work out too well for him either. And listen, at the end of the day, Donnie, it's not even a positive or negative. It's like it's a neutral, right? You just got rid of a 7-foot shot blocking, non-rebounding, no post-up threat shooter for a younger version of a 7-foot, rim protecting, non-rebounding, no post play, 3-point shooter. It's at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Now they're addressing their bench in a little bit of ways to look for Cole Anthony to go and sign with them after he gets bought out. But when you look at Milwaukee, I don't see where they are competitive right now in the Eastern Conference. But, listen, we'll get to Boston in a second, but New York is better. Cleveland's better. Orlando's better. Detroit may be better, right? Atlanta took a monumental leap with the moves they made.
Mhm.
I'm looking at Milwaukee being a playing team. And if they're a playing team, you know that's not going to make Giannis very happy.
Right now, tied for the 7th best price in the Eastern Conference to win that conference crown at 14-1. I think it was a stunning move, JY, when it happened. Whoa, Miles Turner leaving Indiana after a decade to go to Milwaukee, of all places. Conveniently, maybe ironically, the Pacers ousting the Bucks in the opening round each of the previous 2 years. And then immediately after, how are they affording Miles Turner? What? They're waiving and stretching Dame in the final like $500,000 or more than $100 million, whatever it is, over the next 5 years and $22 million per season. It was a wild move, and the ultimate question being, does it make Milwaukee better? You just got the assessment out of JY. We'll focus now on the Celtics, who are also 14-1. And really, JY, it's kind of in the entire context of the Eastern Conference, as we have discussed. The significant injury to Jason Tatum. The C's looked at the roster and they said, all right, time to make some financial moves. They trade Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis to free up some monetary space there in that payroll. What do you believe the Celtics' outlook is this year in an Eastern Conference that is still very uncertain?
Hopefully they're a top 4 or 5 seed in the East. Let's be honest, Ben. They had to make these moves because they were up against it in regards to the luxury tax. So they had to make moves. They really had no choice. And they chose 2 players that I thought were going to be the ones being moved, which was Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, there's other things that's going to be the downfall of the Celtics. There's also the fact that Jason Tatum is not going to play this entire season with the Achilles injury that he suffered in game number 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals versus the Knicks. Do they have the money to pay Al Horford? Oh my God, Luke Cornett, who looked like Lou Alcindor one game, blocking everybody's shot, he's gone to San Antonio. So now we look at a starting lineup of Derek White, Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, Georges Niang, and Luka Garza. Oh boy, that is not going to get it done. And I question how Anthony Simons is going to fit in with Boston. He does not play a great defense. He takes terrible shots. I don't know how it fits with him and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Celtics actually do this year. To JY's point, Boston's still considered a playoff team in the Eastern Conference, minus 290. The Bucks, by the way, to make the postseason out east, minus 340, as those early odds are starting to trickle in. Speaking of early odds, early impressions with the rookie class through Summer League next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. Was he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Connect's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Connect 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on the Early Line on this Monday. Opening weekend of Summer League action out in Sin City has hit the books. I know DRS asked JY as we welcomed on the coach for his opening segment about why some of these guys are shutting it down, including that #1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg after only 2 appearances in Las Vegas. I'll take it another way, JY. When you look at the NBA Rookie of the Year odds, outside of Cooper Flagg, who posted a 31-point performance in his second and final appearance in that Las Vegas Summer League, of the other rookies in this 2025 class, not named Cooper Flagg, who has impressed you most so far?
I like Trey Johnson. I looked at the way he's able to score and create. I mean, I've never seen a guy lose his dribble, shot fake, throw it off someone's leg on the angle he did just to catch it to go to the basket. I mean, it was kind of like, you know, the NBA made the and one mixtape tour. But regardless of the fact, he could score. The question you're going to have for him, obviously, Ben, is what do they do with Smart? What do they do with Middleton? What do they do with McCollum? That is going to dictate what happens in regards to the playing time that Johnson is going to get. Ace Bailey, obviously, when you move on from Sexton, when you move on from Clarkson, when you move on from John Collins, there's more playing time and more shots. I was more impressed about the fact that the things that I questioned about him, his defense, his motor, his rebounding, that looked pretty good to me. So maybe the offense can come. VJ Edgecombe looked obviously dynamic in that game versus Ace Bailey scoring 28 points and looked fantastic. But the guy I got to talk about is a guy that you and I were like, wait, they picked him where? Who? Yang Hansen. I mean, let me tell you something. That boy nice. I mean, I'm watching him. He's diving people up. You never want to hear guys being compared to the all-time greats, right? But when you watch him play and see how he manipulates people with his eyes and his ability to get people a cut and pass the ball, it's got a little bit of Joker to him, a little bit of Şengün to him. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be there, but I was impressed. And, I mean, the guy's name is Hansen, and he blocks shots. So, block he does as well. I like this kid. Also, I saw some things out of Derek Queen that I liked as well. This rookie class looks like it's going to be off to a good start, but a lot of it's going to depend on what teams do in regards to opening up playing time for these kids.
Now, I like all the good vibes, Coach. But you know me. I want to be a hater and hate on some of these young kids. Who have you watched in the summer league? Like, my man, this guy can't play. Because you draft him top 10, top 15. He can't play after 2 games, Coach. Give me a player who can't play right now. Come on. Help me out.
You know, it's really hard to say when you look at that because you have to guys don't make shots, right? Yeah. So to me, that's the thing that you have to worry about is, you know, what guys aren't playing well. It's hard in summer league because some of these guys are only playing a couple of minutes. You know, other guys that look good. I want to say positive because I'm a coach. Liam McNeely showed me some things, his ability to shoot the ball. And then obviously, you know, you got to look at me and Ben were big Nick Clifford guys. And I think that he could be someone that could be a observable player. And then lastly, Jace Richardson. I want to see how they use him in Orlando. It's going to give Jamal Mosley a way to how he can use those guards between him, Anthony Black, obviously Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain. How do they use Jace Richardson? The kid can score. I mean, the kid can score, and he can shoot the lights out. And the one thing Orlando can't do is shoot. They got Bain. I think Richardson's going to help as well.
It was a great pick at 25th overall. Jace Richardson in his 2 Summer League games, a total of 33, including 19 last night. Both he and Nick Clifford, Donnie and I, a couple of Sacramento guys, 150 to 1 right now to win NBA Rookie of the Year. Not listing a price on the big tariff, Young Han's son. That's a little bit disrespectful if you ask me right now for the Trailblazers. JY, I'm not going to ask you to lay minus 170 on Cooper Flagg. And of course, we understand the odds can be a determining factor in actually placing a wager. I'm going to ask you my own bet here. If you had to bet yes or no that Cooper Flagg in his rookie campaign for the Dallas Mavericks wins Rookie of the Year, which side are you leaning on?
Yes, I think he wins Rookie of the Year, and I think really quick things to look out for him. Rebounds plus assists, he will be a primary ball handler, and stocks. He is going to get steals and blocks over 2.5 almost nightly.
Our producer extraordinaire, Joe Frizo, thought the Mavs win total would probably be 45.5, 46.5. It's only 40.5, which is kind of what I thought it would be. The Mavs have the 8th best price to win the West. Make it make sense. JY, a fade away to the break in hour 3 next.